Alright, first thing we're going to do, we're going to proof our yeast. I got some warm water, a little bit of sugar, and we're going to put our package of yeast in there. And this is going to just prove that our yeast is alive and working. It would sure be a shame to go through the process of making our bread and then realize our yeast is not alive. So anyway, that's all that we're doing right now. I'll come back when it starts to bubble. Alright, we've got some all-purpose flour here. We're going to put our yeast mixture in here. Add a little melted butter. Oh, remember, all the ingredients are going to be under the video window under Show More. Click Show More, and I'll have a list with the amounts of ingredients. Add a little salt to this, and now we're going to start to knead it. Alright, so we've been kneading this a little bit. Got everything incorporated, and it still looks a little sticky to me. See how it's just sticky? I'm going to add a little bit more flour. You know, and this just depends on the day. I always have a little bit of flour standing by, a little bit of water standing by in case I need either one. Anyway, today I needed a little extra flour. Alright, this is starting to look pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything off my fingers and get all that in there too. I don't want to waste any of this. It's good stuff. I don't want to be throwing it away. Alright, we're just going to stretch this a little bit, make a ball out of it. And it needs just a touch more flour. We're going to coat this bowl with a little bit of neutral oil, you know, some light olive oil or just plain old vegetable oil. Nothing strong here. Stick our fingers in here and we're going to coat this up real good. And this is where we're going to let our dough ball rise in. We're going to put it in here, coat both sides, and then we're going to let this rise until it doubles in volume. And we're going to stretch this out into a nice ball. There we go. And then we're going to cover it with a towel and let it rise. Alright, our dough ball has risen. It's grown quite a bit. So we're going to get it out of here. Anyway, we're going to dust our counter with a little bit of flour. There we go. We're going to take this out of here. Now it's got a little oil on the outside so it's sticky again. So we're just going to incorporate a little bit more flour into it. There we go. Now we're going to divide this. We're going to try to get it in 4 equal balls. I never get them equal. I get them close. That's all I can do. Anyway, what we'll do, we'll divide these up and we're just going to keep working them. I'm going to dust a little more flour on the counter. There we go. And then we're just going to kind of stretch these into balls. Hopefully they have a nice looking top. That's what I'm shooting for. I want the top to look good. I don't really care about the bottom. Anyway, we're going to put these over here on our pan. It's got a little parchment paper on them when we get them stretched out on them. Just like that. Alright, I got some water here and I'm putting some baking soda in here. We're going to boil these for a few seconds on each side, probably like 30 seconds each side, and this is what's going to give you that pretzel texture. But you got to kind of have everything ready from this point on, because whenever they get hot, they're going to rise really quick, and you don't want them to over rise. Anyway, we're going to start putting these in here. We'll put them top side down, because I want to cook that first. You're going to see these things are going to start growing and getting bigger. And the outside will actually start to get really soft. Alright, so after 30 seconds, we're going to take and flip these things over and we're going to cook the other side for about 30 seconds. Alright, now that both sides are cooked, we're going to start taking these things out. I'm going to put them on a wire rack for a couple of seconds just so they drip dry, but don't leave them on there very long. Alright, so after a few seconds on our wire rack, we're going to put these things back on our parchment lined cookie sheet. But see how soft and tender these things are now? Now the reason I don't want to leave them on the wire rack too long is because they kind of grow and stick into it, and then I wind up having to pull them off, and when I do that it deflates them. Kind of like this guy here, he's got a little deflation going on. He's not going to be a pretty one, but he's still going to be good. Alright, I need an egg wash. I got 1 egg, a little bit of water. It's like 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of water, and then we're just going to mix that up. Alright, I can't find my brush today, so I'm just going to spoon this egg wash mixture on here. But as you can see here, I'm poking holes in these things, and that's why you really need a brush. But hey, this works fine. Don't worry about it. Alright, traditionally, pretzels and pretzel rolls get a little rock salt on them. But because these are hamburger buns and I want to keep that hamburger thing going, I'm sprinkling on some sesame seeds. Hey, they're my buns. I'll cook them the way I want. Alright, so after you get the sesame seeds on here, you need to kind of cut some relief cuts in here. If I had a sharp razor blade, I would use that. I'm just using my knife. And I'm kind of sticking with the traditional cross pattern, but hey, if you got a razor blade, why not do some fancy cuts? Make them look pretty. Now just as soon as you finish making your cuts, you want to stick these into the oven. It's already been preheated to 425F. And this is what mine look like fresh out of the oven. And I want to get these moved over to a wire cooling rack. That way the bottoms don't get soggy on me. Okay, so let's take our ugly one. We'll put him here. We'll slice into him. There. Put some butter. See how this tastes. It's light, fluffy. Now I should have let this cool down some more before I cut into it. That's why it's kind of crumbling. But man, these are, I'm looking forward to making a hamburger with these.